Wild Yellowstone, ruthless predators and majestic wilderness. The abundant and majestic nature reigning over Yellowstone is home to thousands of bison and hundreds of gray wolves. Two destined enemies locked in life and death struggles that have existed since ancient times. They represent the harsh cycle of life and death among Yellowstone's wildlife. The relationship between predator and prey is as fragile as a thread, yet also unbreakably resilient, as the fall of one species ignites the rise of another. But before facing fierce battles with their eternal enemies, these magnificent creatures must endure the challenging baptism of Yellowstone's nature. Nestled within the majestic Rocky Mountains, Yellowstone stretches like a vast blanket embracing the wild and untamed essence of nature. This land rests neatly within a massive square in the northwest corner of Wyoming, extending into parts of Montana and Idaho. Covering more than 3,468 square miles, Yellowstone is larger than both Rhode Island and Delaware, a wondrous world crafted entirely by nature's hand. Winter in Yellowstone is like an impenetrable fortress, constantly challenging the existence of the creatures that call this place home. When November arrives, a blanket of white snow begins to cover everything, signaling the start of a survival struggle that will last for months. Winter temperatures can range from 20-degree en rounds to 30-degree en rounds, but that's just the surface of the harsh conditions. Deeper cold fronts sweep in, sometimes driving the temperature down to 40-degree en rounds at night. Each year, Yellowstone can receive between 150 inches of snow in the lower valleys to 400 inches in the higher elevations, such as the Absaroka Range. That snow acts like a heavy curtain, draping over roads, meadows, and streams, turning movement for animals into an unrelenting struggle. For many species, simply finding a blade of grass or a branch to eat becomes a difficult journey through a sea of snow. As winter tightens its grip, food supplies gradually become scarce. This is a survival test for wildlife, requiring them to have special adaptations and survival skills to endure. But for larger animals, the challenges are even greater. The cold days stretch from November to April, peaking in December and January, like a slow-flowing hourglass that steadily tests the endurance of all living creatures here. Every day is a survival test. Large animals like elk, moose, and bison not only struggle with the bitter cold, but also face dwindling food supplies and weakening health as each day passes. Moose, the largest herbivore in North America, get trapped in deep snow, unable to easily find food. When heavy snowstorms persist, many moose succumb to starvation or exhaustion from trudging through the dense snow. The winter of 1996-1997 was a nightmare for elk and deer in Yellowstone, with a natural mortality rate of up to 50%. The strong bison, with their thick fur, lower their heads to push snow away from the buried grass. But even these giants cannot completely prevail against winter. In years of heavy snowfall, the mortality rate of bison can reach up to 20%, a significant figure for a species that already struggles with harsh conditions year-round. Winter in Yellowstone is like a never-ending night, where only the strongest and smartest creatures can survive. Yet within this harshness, there are stories of resilience and the incredible adaptability of nature, a reminder that no matter how severe, life continues with each breath and every step in the snow. This is the story of the bison, scientifically known as bison, the iconic wildlife of Yellowstone, a testament to the resilience of nature. Yellowstone National Park is home to the largest public herd in the United States, with populations once ranging from 30 to 60 million individuals across North America. However, at one point their numbers dwindled to just 23 individuals in 1902. Thanks to conservation efforts, their numbers have rebounded to approximately 4,500 to 5,500 individuals by 2023. And Yellowstone remains one of their last strongholds. Bison are the largest mammals in North America, standing up to 6 feet tall at the shoulder. Adult bulls can weigh between 1,000 to 2,200 pounds, while cows are lighter, weighing around 800 to 1,200 pounds. In the bone-chilling cold of Yellowstone, bison rely not only on their massive bodies, but also on their natural armor, a thick, two-layered coat that acts like a blanket, protecting them from the biting winds. The outer layer of long, coarse fur acts as a windshield, while the short undercoat traps precious body heat. Even when ice and snow cover their bodies, bison remain standing, resilient against the cold that forces other species to retreat. But their preparation for winter doesn't stop there. Before the snow falls, bison store fat in their bodies, an energy reserve that accounts for 10% to 15% of their weight. This fat serves as an energy bank, helping them survive the long months when grass becomes scarce. When the cold sets in, bison move less, only seeking out the grass in more accessible areas, conserving every bit of energy like an oil lamp maintaining its light through the long, freezing night. Bison are nomadic herbivores, moving in herds with seasonal migration patterns depending on food availability and environmental conditions. In the summer, they gather in areas like Hayden Valley and Lamar Valley, where the grass is plentiful. When winter arrives, they migrate to regions with less snow or lower elevations to make feeding easier. One of the bison's remarkable adaptations is their ability to use their heads to push through thick snow to find food. The snow may be several feet deep, but bison can use the strength of their heads and necks to push the snow aside and reach the grass below. However, in winters with excessively deep snow, even this skill isn't enough to help them feed effectively. Bison's temperament is often unpredictable. They usually appear calm, indifferent, or even lazy. However, they can react suddenly and without warning or clear reason. Bison herds become more restless during the breeding season, which lasts from June to September, with peak activity in July and August. At this time, older males rejoin the herd, and conflicts often arise between males to demonstrate strength and compete for mating rights. These bulls are the most aggressive, unpredictable, and challenging individuals. According to early naturalists, bison were known as fierce and formidable animals that feared no other species. Under optimal conditions, they could even overcome any adversary, except for a grizzly bear or a pack of wolves. However, in harsh winters with scarce food, deadly confrontations with predators challenging the bison are in set foot in North America. The gray wolf reigned supreme over the forests, prairies, and coastlines. They were present everywhere, from the icy Arctic to the arid lands of Mexico, and from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Their extraordinary adaptability allowed wolves to thrive in diverse environments, becoming the eternal guardians of the wild. Hunting, poisoning, and eradication campaigns to protect livestock turned vast lands into places where the howl of wolves was no longer heard. By the 1920s, the gray wolf had vanished from Yellowstone, leaving behind a disrupted ecosystem where only the painful silence remained. Yet nature has its way of healing. In 1995 and 1996, a crucial step in conservation took place. 31 gray wolves were reintroduced from Canada to Yellowstone, where their howls once echoed through the valleys and forests. This marked the beginning of a new chapter in Yellowstone, where the wolves returned to the land that was once theirs, bringing with them hope for the natural ecosystem's revival. Like a biological clock reset, the presence of wolves restored balance to the ecosystem. By 2020, around 94 wolves, divided into 8 packs, called Yellowstone home. In the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, the wolf population fluctuated between 528 and 803 individuals. The moose, scientifically known as Alces alces, is the tallest, largest, and heaviest remaining species of deer, and the only species in the genus Alces. This species plays an important role in maintaining the balance of vegetation in marshlands and forests. They are one of the few animals capable of consuming large amounts of hardwood vegetation, helping to control the growth of these plants and maintaining biodiversity in Yellowstone's environment. As the tallest land animal in North America, moose are second only to bison in terms of mass. Male moose weigh between 900 and 1,600 pounds and stand 6 to 7 feet tall at the shoulder, while females are slightly smaller, weighing between 800 and 300 pounds. One of the most striking features of male moose is their enormous antlers, 2 majestic crowns, with each side having 2 lobes, resembling butterfly wings spread atop. During Yellowstone's frigid winter months, moose face challenges that few species can endure. However, they are equipped with a natural armor, a thick, 2-layered coat. The long and coarse outer layer acts as a windshield, while the soft undercoat traps warmth like a thick blanket, protecting them from the freezing cold. Yet, even with this warm coat, winter presents harsh challenges. Heavy snowfall makes food scarce, like a locked treasure chest of plants beneath a blanket of white. Moose, with their long legs resembling strong pillars, are able to move easily through deep snow. However, when the snow accumulates too much, moose herds must migrate hundreds of miles, seeking lower areas where snow is thinner and vegetation remains plentiful. Each step becomes a journey in search of life amidst harsh nature. Statistics show that in severe winters, mortality rates for these animals can rise to 20%, but 20%. In a study of gray wolves living in Yellowstone National Park, researchers discovered that wolves do not hunt randomly. Instead, they choose their prey based on species, age, and gender to minimize risks and injuries. Gray wolves have such keen hearing that they can detect sounds from up to 6 miles away under ideal conditions. Their sense of smell, believed to be 100 times more powerful than that of humans, allows them to track prey across vast mountain ranges, even where scents may be obscured by snow or carried away by strong winds. Deep snow becomes a game changer, allowing the wolves to maximize their advantage and increase their success rate to approximately 10 to 15%. Recent studies suggest that over 50% of bison calves born will not survive their first year, primarily due to attacks by wolves and bears, compounded by harsh weather conditions. In the wild world of Yellowstone, the North American gray wolf is not only renowned for its exceptional hunting skills, but also as a fierce warrior, defending its territory and pack against formidable foes. One of the most challenging adversaries the gray wolf faces is the mighty grizzly bear, known for its overwhelming strength. When the grey wolf returned to Yellowstone in 1995 after nearly 70 years of absence, the change was not just the echo of their howls once more piercing the night, but the revitalization of the entire ecosystem. They were not merely expert hunters, but also remarkable natural regulators. Elk had once grown unchecked, stripping vegetation along rivers and streams, leading to the near disappearance of aspen, cottonwood, and willow trees. However, the return of the grey wolf initiated a powerful trophic cascade. With their sharp hunting skills, the wolf packs reduced the elk population, allowing the vegetation to recover. Young trees along the riverbanks began to stretch toward the sunlight, and the once barren streamsides turned green again, creating ideal habitats for birds and fish. The resurgence of vegetation also drew beavers back, who began building dams, forming natural wetlands that provided breeding grounds for migratory birds and countless other species. Like an invisible hand, the grey wolf re-established natural order, restoring Yellowstone to its miraculous balance. In the wild heart of Yellowstone, the grizzly bear, scientifically known as Ursus arctos horribilis, also referred to as the North American brown bear, stands as a resilient warrior of nature. From the deep green pine forests to the sprawling prairies, and from the towering mountain ranges to the dense mixed forests, the grizzly bear finds an ideal refuge. In the pine and mixed forests of Yellowstone, where every branch seems like a lifeline to nature, the grizzly bear thrives, making the most of the abundant food sources and secure shelter. Over the long course of evolution, the grizzly bear, once a subspecies of the brown bear, has become a resilient giant of the Yellowstone landscape. Their story began some 50,000 to 100,000 years ago, when brown bears from Eurasia crossed the Bering Land Bridge during the last ice age to enter the North American continent. The harsh climate and rugged terrain of this new land forged a new species, the grizzly bear. These Siberian migrants evolved to adapt to the extreme environment they found. However, the journey of the grizzly bear is not just a tale of survival, but also one of decline. By the late 19th century, when Europeans flooded into North America, they brought guns and deforestation, decimating the bear's habitat. By the late 1800s, grizzly bears in Yellowstone had nearly vanished, with only around 136 individuals remaining by 1975. Thanks to the tireless efforts of conservationists and the National Park Service, the Yellowstone grizzly bear was placed on the endangered species list. Through decades of strict conservation measures, the grizzly population has made a remarkable recovery. Amid the dense forests and rugged mountains of Yellowstone, the grizzly bear looms as one of nature's giants. When standing upright, a grizzly bear can reach a height of up to 8 feet, enough to instill fear in any creature within the forest. Weighing between 400 and 790 pounds, adult male grizzlies are the uncrowned kings of this majestic land. Although smaller, females still carry an incredible resilience, weighing between 290 and 400 pounds, capable of enduring the harsh wilderness. Even more terrifying, the largest grizzlies can reach up to 1,000 pounds, especially after stockpiling energy reserves before hibernation. Covered in thick fur ranging from light brown to black, and sometimes even with a silvery sheen, grizzlies are well prepared for the freezing cold of Yellowstone. This dense coat not only shields them from the biting cold, but also gives them an appearance of wearing armor, ready to confront the unforgiving elements of the wild. Beyond their thick fur, grizzly bears have developed unique behaviors to survive the harsh winters of Yellowstone, where the challenges come not only from the freezing weather but also from the scarcity of food. As the cold winds of early winter begin sweeping through Yellowstone's mountains, around November, grizzly bears seek out safe spots in the high mountains and dig deep dens into the ground. These dens become their winter refuge, shielding them from the brutal weather and other animals. During this period, the bears do not eat or drink, relying entirely on the fat reserves they accumulated before hibernation. A remarkable feat of this species is that female bears give birth during hibernation. Their dens become a warm haven for the newborn cubs. The cubs are nurtured by their mother's milk and kept warm by her protective fat reserves until spring arrives. When spring comes, the grizzlies awaken and begin re-establishing their territory. They use powerful signals to communicate, such as leaving large footprints on the ground, claw marks on trees, and rubbing their backs against trunks. These signs serve as declarations of power, asserting their strong presence in Yellowstone's unforgiving wilderness. In a Yellowstone ecosystem, elk, scientifically known as Cervus canadensis, move like silent shadows, numerous yet vulnerable. In the summer, around 10,000 to 20,000 elk gather in lush valleys where abundant grasslands stretch out like a banquet. But when the white snows of winter begin to blanket the land, they are forced to migrate to lower elevations, where the snow is thinner and vegetation remains more accessible. On this journey, elk calves face some of the most fearsome predators, not only gray wolves, but also grizzly bears, lurking in the shadows of the ancient forests. As the second largest deer species in North America, surpassed only by moose, adult male elk can weigh between 700 and 1,100 pounds and stand up to 5 feet tall at the shoulder. However, it is their large antlers, reaching up to 4 feet in length and weighing about 40 pounds, that truly symbolize their strength. Each summer, these bone antlers regrow from scratch, rapidly developing at a rate of 0.98 inches per day, driven by testosterone, the hormone that also fuels every battle for mating rights. But as the harsh winter slowly passes, testosterone levels drop, signaling to the males that it is time to shed their crowns. When the antlers fall, elk are left without their primary defense, making them easy targets for gray wolves and grizzly bears in this unforgiving ecosystem. Although the grizzly bear is one of the greatest threats to elk calves, scientists have never recorded a grizzly hunting healthy adult male elk. Such encounters could prove fatal for the predator itself. In the shadows of Yellowstone's dense forests and towering peaks, the cougar moves with the grace and mystery of a powerful predator. Known scientifically as Puma concolor, this predator belongs to the Felidae family, with close relatives like the jaguar and cheetah. Its presence spans across the Western Hemisphere, from the icy forests of Canada to the tropical rainforests of South America. This wide range is one of the reasons why the cougar holds the Guinness World Record for having the most names of any mammal, including cougar, puma, mountain lion, catamount, red lion, and even mountain screamer. As the primary prey for cougars, mule deer, scientifically known as Odocoileus hemionus, are very common in Yellowstone and play a crucial role in the ecosystem. This is a medium-sized deer species. Adult males can weigh between 200 and 300 pounds, while females are lighter, around 120 to 170 pounds. What sets mule deer apart is their large ears, which make up nearly 1/3 of their head size, resembling the ears of a mule, from which they get their name, mule deer. Male mule deer stand out with their unique branching antlers, where each branch spreads and splits multiple times like the ancient trees in the forest. Each spring, the old antlers fall off and begin to regrow, symbolizing change and renewal. By late summer, the antlers reach their full size, ready for the battles over mating rights. The mule deer population in Yellowstone fluctuates between 500 and 2,000 individuals. This number constantly changes with the seasons, as migration is a crucial survival instinct for them. When spring and summer bring new life, mule deer feast on tender grass, wildflowers, and lush green shrubs, as if nature has laid out a banquet for them. But when winter arrives, with thick snow covering the ground and transforming the landscape into a frozen desert, mule deer begin their migration journey, sometimes traveling dozens of miles, even beyond Yellowstone's borders, in search of lower elevations where snow is thinner and food is still available. At this time, the tender grass is gone, and they must switch to eating branches and bark from trees like willows and birches. Mule deer are common prey for many large predators in Yellowstone, including gray wolves, cougars, and grizzly bears. These predators often target the young or weaker individuals. However, mule deer are not easily subdued. With their large ears, as sharp as natural radars, mule deer can detect movement and sound from great distances, keeping them alert with every step. When sensing danger, they don't choose to confront it, but instead dash away swiftly, reaching speeds of up to 45 miles per hour in short bursts. But it's not just speed that aids them. They possess an incredible tactic: high jumps, reaching heights of 3 to 5 feet and spanning up to 15 feet. In Yellowstone's rugged terrain, each leap is a rapid escape, making it difficult for predators to keep up. When winter comes, bringing biting cold and scarce food, mule deer face the struggle for survival. A greater challenge for the cougar is the bighorn sheep. Scientifically known as Ovis canadensis, this species is a symbol of the Rocky Mountains of North America and has a prominent population in Yellowstone National Park. They play an important role in the park's ecosystem, with unique adaptations that allow them to survive in rugged mountain environments. Bighorn sheep from the Rocky Mountains are relatively large, with rams sometimes weighing more than 500 pounds and ewes weighing over 200 pounds. Bighorn sheep are named after their large horns. Their horns can weigh up to 30 pounds, equivalent to the weight of their entire skeleton and comprising 10% of their body weight. These horns are not only symbols of strength, but also crucial tools in battles for mating rights. During the breeding season, males charge at each other with tremendous force, clashing head-to-head like thunderous punches. Male bighorn sheep have developed unique structures to protect their brains, from large horn cores to expanded frontal sinuses, all of which help absorb impacts and protect their brains from these fiery collisions. Among the steep cliffs and towering mountains of Yellowstone, bighorn sheep survive as master climbers, choosing dry and rugged terrain as their refuge. With strong legs and hooves as hard as steel, they maintain perfect balance on mountain slopes that seem accessible only to birds. In the tight spaces of the cliffs, they can easily escape formidable predators like gray wolves and cougars, whose feet cannot grip the harsh terrain as effectively. The mountains are the bighorn sheep's fortress, where they roam freely, and survive against both nature and natural predators. With excellent vision and a high level of vigilance, bighorn sheep often stand guard on high ledges, observing their surroundings and spotting predators from afar. Notably, with their large eyes, they can almost see a full panorama without turning their heads, allowing them to detect potential. According to the Yellowstone Cougar Project, the success rate for cougars hunting bighorn sheep is only around 15 to 25%, lower than when hunting other animals. This is primarily due to the complex terrain and the strong defensive abilities of the bighorn sheep. Although an apex predator, the cougar typically avoids direct confrontation with larger foes like grizzly bears and gray wolves. According to a study by the National Park Service, cougars are driven away from their kills in 20 to 30% of encounters with grizzly bears and wolves. Instead of fighting, they choose to retreat, conserving energy and avoiding injury, particularly when near scavenged food. Like shadows in the forest and Rocky Mountains, their reddish-brown to gray-brown fur allows them to blend seamlessly into Yellowstone's landscape. This camouflage not only protects them from potential threats, but also enables them to stalk prey undetected. The cycle of life in Yellowstone never ceases. After the cold winter months, when the land is covered in snow and ice and creatures must endure the harshness of the weather, the thaw brings a reawakening of the landscape, filled with the sights and sounds of spring. Yellowstone becomes a vast nursery for the growth and reproduction of wildlife, an endless cycle of life that continues with the precise rhythm of nature. Here, nature moves like an eternal symphony, with over 67 species of mammals, 300 species of birds, 16 native fish species, 6 reptile species, and 4 amphibian species weaving through the mountains, grasslands, and hot springs. The bison herds, living symbols of Yellowstone, begin birthing their calves amidst the lush green meadows. Nature wonders that just a few hours after birth, the calves can stand and run alongside the herd, a testament to their fierce survival instincts and remarkable adaptability. According to data from Yellowstone Forever, around 700 bison calves are expected to be born in the spring of 2024, a hopeful figure that underscores the stability and growth of the bison population in the park. But spring in Yellowstone is not just a season of life, it also marks the beginning of a harsh struggle for survival. While the young bison calves are learning to explore their world, the wolves begin hunting to feed their own litter. Grizzly bears emerge from their dens after long months of hibernation, accompanied by cubs who are experiencing the vibrant and opportunity-filled world for the first time. Every moment of life exists on the fragile boundary between survival and death. This battle, although harsh, is an essential part of Yellowstone's ecosystem, helping maintain the balance of life's cycle. While Yellowstone's wildlife is striving to survive and maintain the ecological balance of the park, silent threats are creeping in. The Earth's climate is warming, and Yellowstone is no exception. Since 1950, the average temperature in this area has risen by about 2 degrees. This seemingly small number has a massive impact, much like how steady drops of water can wear down an entire mountain over time. The temperature change not only lengthens the growing season for plants, but also pushes animals into an increasingly difficult race for survival. Hibernating species like the grizzly bear must adapt to changes in their hibernation cycles. With spring arriving earlier, snow melting faster, and food becoming scarce, grizzly bears are forced to adjust their schedules. But nature doesn't adapt as easily as humans would hope. Less food in late autumn makes it harder for them to accumulate enough fat to survive through winter. Changes in precipitation and temperature also have a significant impact on the grasslands that bison and elk rely on for survival. Early snowmelt causes prairies to dry out by late summer, making migration and food searching more challenging. This threatens not only the survival of bison, but also puts pressure on the entire ecosystem that depends on them. It's not just mammal, not stopping there. Predators in Yellowstone sometimes have to bear significant impacts from severe natural disasters. Yellowstone, situated atop one of the largest active volcanic systems in the world, brings geological instability. Small earthquakes frequently occur here, like the faint growls of a slumbering beast. However, stronger tremors can trigger landslides, alter the landscape, and disrupt the ecosystem of this region. When major earthquakes happen, the habitats of predators like gray wolves and grizzly bears may be destroyed or suddenly altered. At the same time, prey species such as elk and deer may migrate in search of more stable environments. As a result, a temporary ecological imbalance occurs, forcing predators to travel farther to find food. Even worse, if the Yellowstone volcano were to erupt, this disaster would not only affect the park, but also create a global ecological crisis. Studies show that a major eruption could release billions of tons of ash into the atmosphere, causing a volcanic winter effect, lowering global temperatures and impacting animal and plant populations for centuries. The mountainous terrain and complex geology of Yellowstone can also trigger landslides that occur after heavy rain or earthquakes. Sturdy mountain slopes, once covered by dense forests and vegetation, can suddenly collapse, sending down cascades of earth and rock like ferocious waterfalls of debris, destroying the habitats of many species. Springtime in Yellowstone, when snow melts quickly under the sun's heat, often brings unpredictable floods. Rivers like the Yellowstone and Lamar turn into rushing torrents, swallowing roads and bridges, drastically altering the landscape. In June 2022, one of the worst floods in over a century occurred when sudden snowmelt combined with heavy rainfall pushed river levels to record heights. Yellowstone National Park was forced to close completely and nature faced intense disruption. Gray wolves, Yellowstone's patient predators, were forced away from their usual hunting grounds as meadows flooded and river channels shifted. This significantly impacted their hunting abilities as traditional habitats were destroyed. Grizzly bears, especially during breeding season, also struggled to adapt to the changing conditions. For bald eagles, flash floods bring alarming changes. Research shows that these floods can drastically reduce the population of salmon, one of the eagle's most crucial food sources. When salmon are swept away or unable to spawn due to altered water flows, bald eagles face the threat of food shortages, affecting their survival and reproduction. In the vast wilderness of Yellowstone, tornadoes are a rare occurrence, but when they do strike, they can cause sudden and localized destruction. On July 21, 1987, the strongest tornado in the history of Yellowstone National Park occurred. With winds reaching F2 strength, ranging from 113 to 157 miles per hour, this tornado tore through the Teton-Yellowstone wilderness, cutting a path 24 miles long and about 1.5 miles wide, flattening hundreds of thousands of trees. This devastation altered the forest structure, forcing species like cougars, which rely on dense forests for camouflage and hunting, to adapt to a more open and harsh environment. Fortunately, with their agility and keen instincts, they quickly found safer areas to continue their lives. In the heart of Yellowstone's wilderness, where nature retains its pristine beauty, vast forests stretch like a lush green blanket covering the land. In 1988, a massive wildfire scorched nearly 36% of the park's area, engulfing the forest in flames. But from the ashes, a miraculous story of rebirth began. The seeds of lodgepole pine, triggered by the heat of the fire, began to germinate. From there, a strong new forest emerged. Lodgepole pine now dominates, covering about 80% of Yellowstone's forested area, like steadfast sentinels with the remarkable ability to regenerate from fire. But it's not just the lodgepole pine. Yellowstone is a biological treasure trove, where over 350 species of vascular plants have been recorded, including 218 endemic species found nowhere else on Earth. Plants like the Ute tresses and Yellowstone ferns, though small and vulnerable, persist in the harsh climate, embodying the strength hidden beneath their delicate appearance. Although the 1988 wildfire played a crucial role in regenerating the forests and maintaining Yellowstone's ecosystem, it still caused temporary impacts on predator species. Wildfires can alter the habitat of gray wolves by destroying forest cover and reducing the food supply for prey animals like moose. After the 1988 wildfire, research showed that moose populations in certain areas significantly declined, leading wolf packs to migrate and shift their hunting grounds. Beyond the unavoidable effects of the natural environment, Yellowstone's ecosystem also faces significant impacts from human activity. Yellowstone welcomes over 4 million visitors each year, creating immense pressure on the wild environment. Tourism brings economic benefits and contributes to the park's preservation. But like water slowly eroding solid rocks, human presence is gradually wearing down the delicate balance of this place. The roads and campsites interspersed throughout the mountains and forests have fragmented the habitats of many animal species. Elk, which require vast corridors for migration and foraging, are increasingly confined to narrower spaces. Studies by the National Park Service, NPS, indicate that infrastructure development has reduced elk's natural migration corridors by 25%. This disruption alters their natural behaviors and increases conflicts with humans. The grizzly bear, a symbol of wilderness, is increasingly endangered by human encroachment. From 1980 to 2019, over 60% of grizzly bear deaths were due to conflicts with humans, ranging from traffic accidents to bears seeking food in residential areas. Gray wolves are also at risk from these dangers. Each year, many wolves perish in traffic accidents, reducing the wolf population, severely impacting pack dynamics and disrupting their social structure. Cougars, the silent predators, also face the threat of hunting when they venture outside the park's protected areas. Even within Yellowstone, illegal hunting continues to occur, diminishing the cougar population and leading to ecological imbalances. Yellowstone was recognized by the United Nations as a World Natural Heritage Site in 1978, serving as a living museum of geology and biology, where nature continues its rhythm of renewal. Amidst majestic mountain ranges and roaring waterfalls, the wilderness here resembles a vibrant painting crafted by the hand of the Creator. Preserving Yellowstone is not just about protecting the landscape, but also about ensuring that these natural wonders continue to regenerate and nurture life with each cycle of nature. The Yellowstone ecosystem, the crown jewel of North America's natural systems, once faced immense pressure from human intervention. However, thanks to persistent conservation efforts, wildlife has reclaimed its crucial role in the natural food chain, helping to maintain the delicate balance of this wilderness. One of the greatest success stories is the reintroduction of gray wolves into Yellowstone in 1995, marking a new and hopeful chapter for the ecosystem. This story has become a symbol of global conservation efforts, inspiring many nations to restore endangered species. Additionally, strict tourism control helps balance conservation with development. Although Yellowstone receives over 4 million visitors each year, management measures have prevented excessive harm to nature. Strict environmental regulations, limited access zones, and vegetation protection strategies have safeguarded the ecosystem from negative human impact. Moreover, a study from the University of Wyoming shows that Yellowstone's wildlife has adapted to the presence of humans, allowing them to continue thriving with minimal disturbance. Visitor limits combined with protected core areas, where human access is restricted, have preserved Yellowstone's wilderness. All these efforts are not just about conservation, but also a symbol of respect for the Creator's work. Yellowstone, with its recovering ecosystem, proves that even after suffering great damage, nature can regenerate if given the chance. And as a reminder to all of us, every small or large action we take is a glimmer of hope, bringing us closer to restoring Earth's balance. If you've ever set foot in Yellowstone's wilderness, share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about the mighty predators of this land, the silent warriors who uphold the balance of nature? If given the chance, where would you like to explore next on your journey into the wild? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to join us on our next magical adventures, where nature's stories are still waiting to be told.